Remember when Pizza Hut felt like a great dining experience? Let's take a quick trip back to the 1980s, to those pizza places we grew up with and still miss today. Ready? Shakey's Pizza.
It tastes so good, you might say it's a natural.
Shakey's good taste, naturally.
The best fried chicken and mojo potatoes. Those were the days, my friend, back when they called them pizza parlors. Founded in 1954 as America's first pizza franchise, Shakey's Pizza knew how to make dinner feel like a celebration. Families gathered around long wooden tables, smelling fresh pizza mixing with crispy fried chicken and those famous mojo potatoes, golden, crunchy, and always the first to disappear. They were unforgettable. Some locations still had live piano music, while silent comedy films played on a projector, giving the place a special old-time charm. Kids ran around with balloons, parents relaxed over pitchers of soda or beer, and no one seemed in a hurry to leave. The menu had the classics: pepperoni, sausage, cheese, and a few surprises like shrimp or anchovies. They don't make pizza like it anymore. By 1974, Shakey's had about 500 locations across the U.S. Whether after a ball game, a birthday party, or just a Friday night, Shakey's was always noisy, fun, and full of families. It was a familiar scene back in the day, and it still brings back delicious memories. Back in the 80s, every kid wanted his birthday party there. Pizza Hut.
Got a taste for pizza at Pizza Hut, and pizza made with
Remember that smell? A mix of hot melted cheese and cigarette smoke. Pizza Hut started in 1958 in Kansas, and by the 80s it was everywhere. Coke, with that good ice, tasted better in those red plastic cups, and a personal pan pizza felt like pure heaven. The salad bar was always full, crisp lettuce, dressings, and breadsticks that disappeared fast. You might remember the glow of stained glass lamps, red gingham tablecloths, the jukebox playing 80s hits, and Pac-Man machines in the corner. What more could you want? Pizzas came sizzling in deep pans, cheesy, hot, and delicious. And the Book It program? Kids got a free pizza just for reading. Some people even had their first date here, sharing slices under the warm red lights, maybe with a pitcher of beer. In the mid-80s, there were over 6,000 Pizza Huts across the U.S. Back then, Pizza Hut ruled. Today, not so much. Godfather's Pizza.
Godfather's Pizza.
This was the pizza you couldn't refuse. Back then, Godfather's was a real treat. It's maybe even the best pizza ever. Thick, cheesy pies that felt like an offer you had to take. As a kid, it even felt like eating in a gangster's pizza joint. Founded in 1973 in Nebraska, the chain became famous for thick-crust pizzas loaded with toppings. By the mid-80s, there were over 600 locations across the U.S., making it a favorite for a big, hearty slice. You might remember the dim lighting, dark wood booths, and stained glass pizza lamps over each table. The combo Godfather was a hit. Pepperoni, sausage, bell peppers, onions, and olives piled high. Many spots had a buffet with salads, desserts, and hot dishes, plus Italian murals, mafia touches, and sometimes play areas for kids. The humble pie was stacked with meats, cheese, and sauce so thick it felt like a feast, and the taco pizza, pure legend. Many say it was even better than Pizza Hut. What's your opinion? Let the battle begin. Pizza Inn. One of the first pizza places to offer an all-you-can-eat buffet, and that became their thing. Founded in 1958 in Dallas, Texas, Pizza Inn was a family favorite long before the big national chains took over. By the 1980s, it was at its peak with over 500 locations, especially in the South and Midwest. The thin crust pizza just hit different. The buffet had it all: spaghetti, fried chicken, corn on the cob, and every kind of pizza you could want. Pepperoni, thin crust, even taco pizza. And the price? Just $1 and 65 cents. In the 80s, walking in meant hot pizza, arcade games, and a cozy dining room with warm lighting. For many, it was the go-to spot after Little League or Sunday church. A few locations remain, but most are gone. Many say no other buffet ever came close. Do you agree? Honestly, it might have been the best thin crust pizza ever. Showbiz Pizza.
Showbiz Pizza place.
Imagine walking into a place where the pizza was hot, the games never ended, and a band of singing animals put on a show just for you. In the 80s, this was pure magic. It all started in 1980 in Kansas City, Missouri. A mix of restaurant, arcade, and live entertainment all under one roof. The Rock-a-Fire Explosion, their animatronic band, cracked jokes and played music while you ate. Kids darted between the stage and the arcade, pockets full of tokens, trying to win tickets for prizes. The pizza was simple, cheesy, and perfect after hours of skee-ball or Pac-Man. Birthdays here were unforgettable. Lights flashing, music pumping, and the whole crowd singing along. By the mid-80s, over 200 locations were buzzing with energy. By the early 90s, most locations merged into Chuck E. Cheese, but for those who experienced it, nothing since has come close. Happy Joe's Pizza and Ice Cream.
Good times to be together. Happy Joe's.
What if you could have pizza and ice cream out in the same place? Back in the day, Happy Joe's made that dream a reality, and it became a family tradition for generations. It all began in 1972 in Davenport, Iowa, when a former Shakey's pizza manager decided to mix two favorites into one restaurant. The result? A place where you could start with a hot, cheesy pizza and finish with a giant ice cream sundae. The most famous creation was the taco pizza, piled high with seasoned beef, lettuce, tomatoes, and cheddar on a crispy crust. For a child, it was pure magic. Pizza like nothing we'd ever tasted before, followed by ice cream, flashing lights, music, and even a siren and horn announcing birthdays. Then there was the ice cream counter, sundaes, banana splits, and shakes, served in tall glasses that made kids' eyes light up. And who could forget the barn burner? Every flavor of ice cream in one giant bowl, a challenge and a celebration, all in one. Fond memories. Straw Hat Pizza.
Straw hat, all for fun and fun for all.
On the West Coast in the 80s, this was more than pizza. It was a tradition. I had almost forgotten about it. Do you remember? Straw Hat Pizza opened in 1959 in California, and by the 1980s it had over 230 locations, winning hearts with its laid-back vibe and signature thin crust pizza. Step inside and you'd see big red booths, families swapping stories, and a rustic Old West decor, wagon wheels, sports pennants, and vintage signs on the walls. For kids, a visit here was always a big event, filled with laughter and fun. The pizza was crisp and cheesy, topped with fresh ingredients that kept you coming back. Prices were fair, making it an easy choice for families. And then there were the hot hat sandwiches, golden pockets of pizza dough stuffed with meats, cheese, and sauce, a true favorite. You could even take a date here and still have money left over. Those were the days. Most locations are gone now, but for those who remember, that thin crust will always bring a smile. Did you go for the classic pizza? Or were you all about the hot hat? Round Table Pizza. Eating out in the 1970s and 80s was such a treat, a time when families and friends came together. Round Table started in 1959 in California, and by the mid-1980s, it had hundreds of locations across the West Coast. Inside, the medieval theme set the mood. Dark wood walls, shields on display, and stained glass lamps casting a warm glow. Families filled the big tables, sharing pizzas piled high with toppings. The crust was golden and crisp, the cheese perfectly melted, and the slices were huge. One of the biggest hits was the King Arthur's Supreme, stacked with pepperoni, sausage, mushrooms, onions, and green peppers. Some locations even had salad bars and game rooms, turning dinner into a full night out for the whole family. Today, many locations still serve loyal customers, but in the 80s, there was something special in the air, a time when life was simpler and we enjoyed the little things. Mr. Gatti's Pizza.
You gotta get a Gatti.
Back in the 80s, this was the kind of place you could spend hours in. The smell of hot, cheesy pizza hit you the moment you walked in. Founded in 1964 in Stephenville, Texas, it became famous for its all-you-can-eat buffet and family-friendly vibe. By the mid-80s, there were hundreds of locations across the South. The buffet had it all: pepperoni, sausage, veggie pizzas, and even dessert pizzas with cinnamon and icing. There was also pasta, salad, and warm breadsticks, so everyone found something they liked. The real fun for kids was Gattiland, a huge game room with skee ball, air hockey, and arcade machines flashing everywhere. Kids collected tickets to trade for prizes, while parents relaxed at the table with coffee or grabbed another slice. The mix of food, games, and laughter made every visit special. The food was really good, the prizes were awesome, and the prices were fair, making it an easy choice for families. Everything was fresh, tasty, and fun. Who else loved this place? They were the best. Chuck E. Cheese. It was every kid's dream. Founded in 1977 in San Jose, California, it combined pizza, arcade games, and live animatronic shows in one place. By the middle of the decade, there were hundreds of locations across the U.S., making it the spot for birthdays. Walking in meant bright lights, hot pizza smells, and the sounds of games everywhere. Kids ran with pockets full of tokens, trying to win as many tickets as possible for prizes. On stage, Chuck E. and his animatronic friends sang, told jokes, and kept the crowd entertained while families ate. The pizza was simple, hot, cheesy, and perfect between rounds of skee ball or Pac-Man. By the late 1980s, it had become a childhood rite of passage for the pizza, the games, or Chuck E. Domino's Pizza.
30 minutes fast and free. Domino's Pizza delivers.
Anyone old enough to remember what Domino's tasted like in the 80s? Founded in 1960 in Michigan, it exploded in popularity during the decade thanks to its famous 30 minutes or less promise. By the end of the 80s, there were over 5,000 locations worldwide. The menu was simple, just pizza. No pasta, sandwiches, or extras. You could pick a few toppings, but most people came for the chewy crust, rich tomato sauce, and plenty of cheese. The red and blue Domino logo on the delivery box became a familiar sight at doors across America. For many families, Domino's meant Friday nights with a movie, game night with friends, or a quick dinner after a long day. The 80s were truly its golden years. Many say it tasted incredible back then and wish they'd bring back the old recipe. So if you could go back to the 80s to visit one of these pizza places, which would it be?